Dana White's Contender Series 2022 Week 6 full card prediction and confident picks. If you want all the bets that I'm going to be making for this entire card, as well as UFC, Bellator, as well as PFL, check the top link down below in the description for 10 cents a day. And you get all of the bets. So 70 cents a week, that is literally it. The lowest price you're going to find on YouTube. And if you want all of my bets for every single sport, it's a little bit more, $9.99 a month. But if you just want the MMA bets for the major organizations, it's only $2.99. But we got some good cards. The welterweight division has Jose Henrique, Yusaku, Kinoshita, two very young prospects in this welterweight division. We got Sedriques, Dumas, and Matej, Peñaz from the Czech Republic. In that light heavyweight division, that should be a good one. Mateusz, Rebecki, Rodrigo, Lidio in the lightweight division. That one's going to be, if it goes to a decision, it's going to be fight of the night, but that's going to be a banger of a fight. Silva, Viktoriya, Dudakova, two undefeated women's strawweights, and Bilder and Alex Morgan. Some good fights in the card. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. We're going to try to get this video to about 100 likes. If we can get it to 100 likes, by the time that the Contender Series actually does happen, I'm going to be giving one of you that comments your full card prediction down below all of my bets. If one of you comments your full card prediction down below, I'll give you my full card bets for this Contender Series card if we get to that 100 likes. So with all that being said, let's get into the first fight here in the Dana White's Contender Series featherweight division. Alex Morgan and Blake Bilder in the featherweight division. I do like this fight. I do like this fight a lot. Blake Bilder, 6 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw. At 5'8" inches tall, not too sure about the reach there. But if you look at his record so far, and if you looked at a few of his last fights inside of CFFC, where he actually became the Cage Fury FC featherweight champion in his debut, and then defended it with a nice knockout in round 3. You know the man is looking to get the fight down. You know he's trying to get on top, ground and pound you a little bit, and then look for that submission. Or if he does not get the submission, just keep on ground and pounding. He's undefeated as an amateur at 7-0 and undefeated as a pro at 6-0-1. So he's a solid grappler, good wrestler, but not the best striking. He's not going to be as tall as Alex Morgan. Based off the film that I've watched of Blake Bilder, I don't think he's going to have the reach that Alex Morgan is going to have as well. So I am going to give the physical attributes advantage to Alex Morgan right here. I'm also going to give the striking advantage to Alex Morgan in this fight. This fight really comes down to who can get the fight where they want the fight to be. I mean, every single fight starts off striking. Alex Morgan and Blake Bilder will be on their feet striking each other right at the start of the fight. That is an advantage for Alex Morgan, who is going to be the better striker, who is going to be taller, who's going to be lengthier, the better counter puncher. He's called the chess master for a reason. He's trying to get you to come in, and he's going to hit you with something when you least expect it. Blake, being the smaller, less lengthier guy, the better rusher, the better grappler, is going to be looking to come forward and mix in those takedowns. So it is a close fight for the fact that Alex Morgan is a good striker and Blake Bilder is a good grappler. You never really know when you have these type of fights where you got a really good striker with really good power versus a really good grappler with some good submission skills, especially if that striker is only lost recently was to Charles Jourdain with a guillotine in round 1, a rear naked before that, and a rear naked before that. So Blake Bilder is definitely a live underdog right here. Betting odds have him at plus 185, started at plus 125. So I see this fight being pretty close. I think one round will go to Blake Bilder. He will probably get close to a submission, mix in a takedown and things like that. Get a little bit of control time and stuff. But I think 2 out of those 3 rounds will be Alex just landing the hardest shots in the feet, defending most of these takedowns, and I think that'll be enough for him to get the win on the judges' scorecards right here. Alex Morgan by a 29-28 unanimous decision. Viktoriya Dudakova and Maria Silva in the women's strawweight division. Maria is 8-0 as a 26-and-a-half-year-old. She's 5 foot 3 inches tall, very small, but she's very, very strong. She's got amazing wrestling, amazing grappling, as we saw against Catherine Paprocki, and as we saw against Wilina Wozniak, where she went out there and got a 3rd round rear naked. She's very good on the ground. She's very strong, good takedowns, good ground and pound, good submission skills. but it wouldn't be enough to finish Viktoriya Dudakova on the ground, and I don't really think she's going to dominate Viktoriya Dudakova and out-wrestle, out-grapple Viktoriya Dudakova like she's been doing to girls like Catherine Paprocki. Now, Viktoriya has a lot of experience. She's 5-0 as a professional MMA fighter with a lot of finishes right there in literally every single round. As an amateur, she was an IMAF fighter with a few decision wins and then one armbar submission on Charlotte Brown right there. Now, this is going to be very interesting because Viktoriya Dudakova is known to have some very good wrestling, known to have some good grappling. So is Maria Silva. So then it kind of comes down to who's going to be better in the clinch, who's going to be the better striker, who's going to land more punches, the harder punches, and things like that. And I'm going to have to go Maria Silva. Maria is a lot stronger in terms of those clinch situations. She's good with the knees. In the clinch, she's going to break every clinch with a good boom, boom, a little big shot on the break of the clinch. On the feet, she's going to be pressuring Viktoriya Dudakova, landing some big shots as well. Kind of like the girl from last week that was just really pressuring her grappling opponent and landing some very, very big shot. If you remember the fight, it was probably fight of the night last week with Denise Gomez, who just kept on pressuring Ryani Amanda's back to the cage and landing some big shots. It's kind of what I see happening here for Maria Silva. She's going to put on the pressure, land the bigger shots, get the fight to the clinch, land some knees, defend the takedowns, and we're going to see two wrestlers and grapplers strike for 3 straight rounds, and I think the better striker is going to be Maria Silva. Maria Silva by a decision right there. Rodrigo, Lidio, and Mateusz Rebecki. I know I probably said that one wrong. In the lightweight division, Rodrigo, 33 years old, 12 wins and 2 losses, with I think all wins coming inside the distance. I don't think he has one decision win on his record. Out of his losses, 1 knockout loss and 1 submission loss. So you know what I'm going to be saying right now. Is not going to be no decision win for either guy. Mateusz Rebecki, if you look at his wins, 8 knockout wins, 5 submission wins, and 2 decision wins, with only 1 loss coming by knockout to Paweł Kielek, who was doing pretty good, but then he fell off right after that loss. Now, I see this fight going one of 2 ways. Either, first off, the taller, lengthier guy, Rodrigo Lidio, kind of captures Mateusz Rebecki as he's coming in, and he catches him with something big, knocks out Mateusz Rebecki round 1 or round 2. That's a possibility to happen here. Or Mateusz Rebecki goes out there, does not get hit with that big shot as he's coming in for the takedown, throws some big combination of his own, goes down for the takedown, drops Rodrigo Lidio down, ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. Rodrigo Lidio gives his back up, and Mateusz Rebecki gets a submission, or he literally just keeps on ground and pounding for that TKO. So that's going to be my prediction, is going to be Mateusz Rebecki putting on heavy pressure on the feet, putting up that high guard, not trying to get hit with those powerful shots of Rodrigo Lidio, and then getting the takedown and ground and pounding Rodrigo Lidio. I could see a submission. That's why I'm not 100% on the TKO. I'm not 100% on the submission. I could see Mateusz just, ground and pounding like a lot of fighters do, and then just popping up the submission. I could see her ground and pounding, and then she could see the submission. She's like, nah, I want the TKO in this fight. So really depends on what Mateusz Rebecki wants. So it's going to be a ground and pound TKO or a submission in round number 2. Oh yeah, and we forgot to put the betting odds for the last 2 fights. Maria Silva's at -205 right here, plus 175. For Viktoriya Dudakova. Money is coming in on Viktoriya, and then Rebecki is at -235. So they're both pretty sizable favorites, kind of around the same range that a lot of the favorites are for this card, around that -200 range. But those are the betting odds for those ones. Matej, Peñaz, and Sedriques Dumas in the light heavyweight division. Betting odds -170 for Matej, plus 145 for Sedriques Dumas, who was at plus 190 at one point. So a little bit of money is coming in on Sedriques Dumas. I think this is one of the closest fights on the card. I want to be deadly honest with you. This is a very, very close fight. Kicking game, boxing game, power, speed, volume, all that good stuff is pretty even between Sedriques Dumas and Matej Peñaz. I did say volume for how they're even, but I do give Sedriques Dumas a slight volume advantage. Matej, he's kind of looking for that kill shot. He's not necessarily out there just looking at Israel Adesanya tip-tap you. He's a good Muay Thai fighter, had a lot of Muay Thai and kickboxing bouts before becoming an MMA fighter, was doing very, very good, getting a few decision wins, a few doctor stoppage and retirement wins as well, but again, he's not really throwing the most volume ever out there, which is good for a contender series fight, because if you're not really throwing that much volume, your opponent is not really going to be weary about getting hit too much. They're going to come in, and possibly Matej Peñaz can catch him with something big as he's coming in. So it's like, it's one of those things where it could be really good for Matej Peñaz having the low volume and just looking for that kill shot, or it could be very bad for Matej Peñaz not throwing that much volume. So it's going to be a tough one here. I do see this one. There's a good possibility we see a finish, but Matej Peñaz, his last win was a decision win on Gianno Melillo, who was able to mix in some wrestling in that fight. Before that, he got a lot of knockout wins there, but none of these guys were really able to mix in the takedowns, mix in the wrestling and grappling, like I do think Sedriques Dumas will be able to in this fight. And Sedriques also coming off a decision win before that, getting pretty much all finishes right there, so it's going to be tough. I mean, he was almost undefeated as an amateur, only losing to undefeated Miles Lee. Again, this is the closest fight on the card in my opinion. Sedriques Dumas needs to go out there, keep the fight very even in the striking, have Matej Peñaz throw in low volume. I mean, you need to have really good movement fighting a guy like Matej Peñaz so you don't get cracked by one of those big shots and get knocked out, but you also need to be doing that while landing some good volume on Matej Peñaz. Be landing the jab, 1-2s, leg kicks, body kicks at range, circling, have Matej Peñaz get frustrated and keep on coming forward, eventually to where Sedriques Dumas could mix in the wrestling and grappling, get in on the takedown, get the fight to the clinch, hold there, little foot stomps, little knees to the body, low left hooks to the body, and things like that. That is the game plan of Sedriques Dumas. Sedriques' game plan that I would say is the best game plan for him to use isn't really the best for the Contender Series. I'm going to say that right now. It is not the best for Contender Series because even if you win the fight, keeping it very even, just out-volume Matej Peñaz on the feet, then mix it in the wrestling and grappling scenarios. If you do that, Dana's going to be like, that was a pretty boring fight. We're not going to sign you. But if he doesn't do that, he might actually go out there and get knocked out by Matej Peñaz. So the reason I have this being one of those pick'em type of fights in the card, because it really comes down to what type of fighters come out there. Because on the one hand, you could go out there, play it smart like Dumas should, and go out there, play a lot of volume on the feet, stay away from the power, and mix in the wrestling and grappling. But then you might not get the contract. Matej Peñaz can go out there and just go for the kill shot, but he might get the knockout, get the contract, or he can go for the kill shot, not get the knockout, gas out, and Dumas beats him in the later round. So again, this is one of the weirdest fights in the card, one of the fights that can literally go either way, so it's tough. I'm going to go the underdog Sedriques Dumas just because of how close and how many different possibilities there are in this fight, how many different things both guys can do to successfully win the fight, to get the contract to the UFC. It really comes down to how or what their game plan is. I don't know what their game plan is. I'm sitting at home right here. I'm not training with Dumas. I'm not training with Matej Peñaz. I don't know what game plan they're going out there with. So it really comes down to that game plan. Might just be one of those live betting scenarios where you just go out there and live bet it after you see the game plans of both guys. If you see a game plan that is going to be like, all right, Sedriques is going to make this boring and wrestle, all right, bet Sedriques Dumas. But if you see Sedriques just trying to trade with Matej Peñaz, I might live bet Matej Peñaz. Again, one of those closest fights on the card. Slightly going to go the underdog. Not a confident pick at all. We'll get to that later. But I'm going to go Sedriques Dumas by a... Let's go decision. I feel it's going to be a weird fight. Sedriques Dumas by a decision right there. Yusaku Kinoshita and Jose Henrique in the welterweight division. That's first off. This is going to be in the welterweight division. If you look at his last fight, it was in the LFA at the 185-pound division, where he weighed in at 184 pounds. Before that, fought Caldo Freitas in, again, the middleweight division. So the man has been fighting in that middleweight division a lot. And now, out of nowhere, he's moving down to the welterweight division. Again, it's another one of those fights where I'm going to make my prediction right now, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, might have to wait till the weigh-ins. Might have to see what he's looking like moving down to the welterweight division, because we saw Bryan Battle move from the middleweight division to the welterweight division and look very good. But we've seen other guys move down weight classes and just look very, very bad. Their cardio suffers really bad, kind of like a who was it? Misha Tate when she moved down to fight Laura Murphy. Her cardio just really did not look that good when she moved down the weight class. So again, before I make the prediction, I need all of you guys to know the man's moving weight classes. You gotta wait till we see the weigh-ins for me to make a full-on official 100% prediction on this fight. So if you are watching this prediction right now and it is Monday when they are weighing in, after the weigh-ins happen, go down and comment down below. What is your prediction now that you have seen the weigh-ins? And I'll tell you if my prediction has changed, if my prediction is the same, whatever the case may be. But it's a good fight. Jose Henrique, 5 wins, 0 losses as a pro, no amateur experience. Started off with 4 finishes in a row, all by knockout. Then got his first decision win on Pedro Oliveira by split decision. I think Yusaku Kinoshita is going to have that striking advantage. He's going to have the power advantage in his hand. But again, I don't know what Jose's gonna look like in the damn welterweight division, but I do think he's gonna be trying to throw some big shots on the feet to close that distance, given the size advantage of Jose Henrique being 6'5" tall, 78.5" reach. Yusaku's just gonna be throwing bombs, trying to get the fight close, get the fight to the clinch, land those knees, land the punches to the body, break the clinch, land some big shots, and he's eventually gonna be looking for that takedown. That's gonna be Yusaku's game plan here, is to really batter Jose Henrique in the clinch with the knees, as we saw in his last fight over there in Pancrase. Just batter him in the clinch with knees, body shots, and things like that. Then eventually look to dump him down with a takedown, ground and pound a little bit, and look for that submission. This is one, usually Contender Series main events, we're going to see a finish. And I do see one here. I'm going to go Yusaku Kinoshita to win the fight by... let's go submission. Let's go Yusaku Kinoshita by submission in round number 2. Those are the full card predictions for Contender Series 2022, Week 6. I got Yusaku Kinoshita by a submission. I got Sedriques Dumas by a very, very close decision. Mateusz Rebecki by a... It's tough. It's very, very tough. It's whatever he wants. TKO or submission. Officially, let's go TKO. Maria Silva by a decision. And Alex Morgan by a decision. Now, for the confident picks right here, Alex Morgan, Blake Bilder. The percentage confidence I'm going to have for Alex Morgan is going to be around 60%. It's not going to be very high, as he has been submitted plenty of times in his career. Not going to be a confident pick whatsoever. Blake is definitely live to go out there and get a finish on the grounds. Maria Silva, we're going to have her a little bit more confident than Alex Morgan is. At a 62.5%. Again, not a confident pick whatsoever for Maria Silva, because Viktoriya Dudakova is a very good grappler herself. She could stay away from the striking, make it even on the feet, and find a way to mix in some takedowns. That is a close one. As women's MMA, those decisions can flip-flop either way, depending on whoever the judge is. Mateusz Rebecki, that's going to be my most confident pick of the card right here, but it's not going to be a confident. I mean, dude, none of the fights on this Contender Series card are at all going to be confident picks. Mateusz Rebecki is going to be right at a 69. Let's go 70%. Let's get him right over there to the 70% category. Sedriques Dumas, yeah, that one's a pretty much 50-50 right there. We're going to move him down over here. Sedriques Dumas. And then Yusaku Kinoshita, we're going to move him right in front of Dumas right there. So Yusaku, we're going to have around 55%. And Sedriques Dumas, we're going to have around 51%. Let's get the correct percentage there. All right. Those are the confident picks. I mean, none are confident picks. I'm going to keep on saying that till the fight card actually does happen. I got Mateusz Rebecki as my most confident pick, but he is not a confident pick at 70% confidence. Maria Silva at 62.5%. Alex Morgan at a solid 60%. Yusaku Kinoshita at a 55%. And Sedriques Dumas at 51%. Solid card. Those are the picks. Those are predictions. Those are the confident picks. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.